We're going to end this half with a reading of a complete story by the Manchester author, Michelle Green. Now, Michelle Green is a British-Canadian writer living in Manchester. She's the author of one collection of poetry, Knee-High Tales, and one critically acclaimed short story collection, Jebel Marra, based on her experiences as an aid worker in Darfur. She's the winner of a Julia Darling Travel Fellowship and launches her new project, Hailing Island, later this month, also as part of the Manchester Literary Festival. Now, Michelle's story explores the plight of one of many suffragettes who, being imprisoned for activism, took to hunger striking. It was written with the assistance of the suffragette historian Elizabeth Crawford. Now, Michelle will be joining us on stage after the break. She's too lazy to come on now. I'm only joking, sorry, Michelle. But Michelle has asked, I don't know why, she's asked if I would read the story. So I will do that. And it's a bit of a hard act to follow, actually. So now this is There Are 5 Ways Out of This Room by Michelle Green. 1. Crack in the corner where the wall meets the floor, where the sun performs a quick 7-minute sweep early each morning before disappearing across the prison walls for another day and night. It's wide as a pin, that crack, maybe 2 pins side by side, but big enough for the small army of fork-tailed silverfish that emerge when it's quite still, surveying the floor and eating what I don't. Boiled potato, piece of grey meat. 2 is the window, of course, and were I 8 feet tall with hands like a blacksmith's vice, this would be my way out. Brush aside the bars as if iron were a lock of hair grazing a cheek. No rats from the window because it's too high, but rain sometimes, and cold, bone deep. I lie on the plank that serves as my bed and press myself against the wall so the breeze misses me. Push my feet up against the hot water pipe. Arms down, chin down. I breathe into my hands, long, slow breaths, knit my fingers together and close the gap where the 10th should be. All that blood on the weaving shed floor, the neat white bone, the broken bobbin, now just a ragged scar and an empty space. When we're allowed out into the yard together, Lizzie runs her fingertips across the scar, traces rings around my swollen knuckles, finding the spots where the skin stayed thin between the fingers, inside the wrist. E39, that's her name in here, after her cell number. I'm E38. When the guards are posted to the end of the hall, we stand at the small window in each of our cell doors and memo across the gap. We talk about anything and everything. Asquith's latest speech, our plan for the Liberals, which of the guards might be with us. They can't see us, the guards, and even if they did, they wouldn't understand. Just 2 hungry mill girls mouthing nothing. Will you martyr yourself? She wants to know. And my answer is quick. The dead can't fight. I want victory. And I want to see it, I tell her. With you. She smiles at that. Big Barbara Brown beats boys before bowing, she mouths. And I stifle a laugh. That doesn't make sense, I mouth back. Barbara's tiny. Okay, proud Pankhurst pulls pillows from pedants. Her eyes gleam. Kind Kenny kills kicking kings, I say, and she looks shocked, covers her mouth in mock horror. She's so pretty when she laughs. We will keep this up till about 8 p.m. when the electric light goes out. And then we're mere shadows against the cell walls, alone again until daybreak. The 3rd way out of this room is more inventive, metaphysic. Perhaps closed to the non-believers, this shining path grows brighter with hunger and thirst. The walls of my cell disperse like mist in the sun. My skin sings. Let the sea roar, let the fields rejoice, let the trees of the wood sing out, because it is nothing at all, this draughty hallway between us. I feel her beside me, coy in her prison cap, her palms on my palm. I close my eyes and reach for her face. She is the May Queen, more precious than rubies, arms outstretched, her hair dancing, her feet bare. Around her is a wreath of daffodils, cowslip daisies, and the ribbon above her head declares of all merry England for the common folk. I remember copying the picture when I was small from the cover of the Clarion, and here she is now, born into flesh as my dearest love, ageless and timeless, leading the parade of the righteous. I keep my eyes closed, stay here as long as I can. The fourth way out of this room is through the door, but there's little hope of that today. First, they come to collect the tray of potato and meat, untouched but for the silverfish. And when they enter again, I set my chin high, defiant. My hunger is my weapon, and I hold it with both hands. Boudicca's long sword, Joan of Arc. After the tray, we fight. 6 nurses and the doctor in his hat. And when they hold me down, I tense every muscle, push against it. I clench my jaw just so, and the doctor runs the clamp back and forth, its teeth on my teeth, searching for gaps. This is when I must be fully alert, all my focus on keeping my jaw set for as long as I can. I see it in his eye, the slight glint of discomfort, the shame. He hides it well, but this place has sharpened me. It's routine. 57. This is the 57th time. Lizzie and I keep count. And this time, instead of clenching my eyes shut, crying out, I look and I see. Look him in the eye. 57, doctor. He finds the gap, of course, left by my treacherous missing tooth, and the steel jaws open with each turn of the screw, forcing bare the softness of my throat. The blood is running from the track scored across my gums, and he turns it once more, pushes my jaw wider, wider, so wide I feel my face will split. And it clicks, the crack of a tooth, then sharp, bright pain, rush of blood. My next line of defense is my throat, and so I hold it closed as much as I can with my mouth forced wide. I tighten every muscle, but now he comes with the tube. 2 yards of terror. The nurses shift their grip on my limbs, and I cannot resist. Thick as a finger, India rubber, and as he forces it down my throat, I taste the bile of another outlaw, the tang of infection, her mucus still clinging to the sides. He pushes it down, further down, and I feel as if my eardrums have burst, as if my chest were flayed by the butcher's knife. The pain is so much that at one point it blinds me. I see only shape and shadow, hear the clang of the metal bowl, the fork mixing, splash of warm milk. I know what's coming. Bread as hard as a stone in pieces, and I press against the tube, against the nurses, until I feel it hitting my stomach and collecting there. I hear Lizzie call out to me, When they leave, I am not I. I was never meant to survive. That's what Father said. 1 month too early and too small. But somehow I did, even without his confidence. He sent me a letter yesterday to tell me that the heather is in bloom, every hilltop. And when I closed my eyes and pictured it, I saw the green and purple against the cold autumn sky, balancing pale between rain and snow and sunshine. Janie is half-time at the mill now, he said, the last of the family. The girls from the weaving shed send their best. Keep your chin up, my girl. I read it again and again, ran my finger over the letters. It's more than he's ever said to me, directly to me. And so I did. I kept my chin up. They gave us each a book when we came in, addition to the Bible, of course. Fresh air and cleanliness. I told Lizzie that if they wouldn't give me writing paper, I'd tear a page from it and write to him in the margins next to the instructions on how to scrub a stone floor. The light is still on. I'm numb for a time, eyes on the silverfish crack, my throat burning from the tube, the scrape of metal on stone, an iron screech breaks through. Lizzie's cell door, and for the 57th time, I prepare myself for her cries. Though I cannot yet speak, I mentally repeat the line for her. Dismiss whatever insults your own soul, and your very flesh shall be a great poem. She does not reply. I vomit hard against the wall, wipe my eyes, and then vomit again. Lie down on the plank, feet on the hot water pipe, and listen. Force myself to listen. I clear my throat and speak. Your very flesh shall be a great poem. My voice sounds weedy in here, high-pitched, and I still can't hear her. I clear my throat again, spit to the corner and speak. Your very flesh shall be a great poem. And then again, louder, enough to fill this room. Then again, that it might creep under the door and across the hallway. Your flesh shall be a great poem. Into her cell, and the next cell, and the next. And your flesh shall be a great poem, and your flesh, and the next. I can't hear her. Across the prison grounds, and again I'm shouting now, out past the gate. Dismiss whatever insults your own soul onto Southall Street. Your very flesh shall be down Manchester Stone and into the office of the opposers. Whatever insults your own soul. A tide of women, of outlaws, of voters, a great poem, and you shall be, and I shout as loud as I can against the cold metal door, and the silence from her cell. Your flesh, your very flesh, shall be a great poem. Thank you. Right. Thank you. So, thank you, Michelle Green, for giving me the privilege of being able to read that story. And can we just thank, we're going to see more of them in the half, but I just think it was so joyous, the two readings. So please can we thank them again.